36 races in the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault B Series, and it all comes down to this. Two drivers walk in to Homestead Miami Speedway. Stefan Marinak, Bobby Terrell, 8 points between them. Only one can walk out as champion. Who will it be? We will find out in 110 laps around the very tricky mile-and-a-half oval here at Homestead Miami Speedway. It is the championship weekend race for the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault B Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing. Good evening, race fans. You are watching LSRTV's live coverage of the Asphalt Assault Series. Joe Cortez, Harry Weidlitz calling all the action for you. And Harry, it's been a very long season, but it comes down to one race and two drivers who want the championship. The question is, which one wants it worse?
Yeah, absolutely. 35 races in the books, and 21 wins between Stefan Marinak and Bobby Terrell. They've been trading blows all season long, and it comes down to this. And basically, Stefan needs to get a top 5 tonight to have a shot at this championship. 6th or worse, if Bobby wins the race and leads the most laps, it is over. Of course, there's a few different scenarios that play into this. The bonus points will come into play, and it's just going to be all night long trying to figure out the right strategy that's going to result in the driver going to victory lane.
It's all about strategy. It's all about how these drivers manage themselves over the next 110 laps around Homestead Miami. Harry, you got to play with the car a little bit earlier. Tell us your initial thoughts about this fixed setup we're going to see tonight.
Well, driving certainly comes into play because it's easy to over-rotate these cars, get them a little bit loose. The tires are temperature sensitive, much like most tracks with this Nationwide Impala and Ford Mustang. However, some of the tracks we go to, the car just feels underpowered and it tends to understeer. Here, you could get it to understeer or oversteer and spin the tires just a little bit on exit. So being very precise with your inputs will be paramount tonight.
Being sensitive with inputs and being able to manage this car will be the secret to the championship, I believe. Stefan Marinak, Bobby Terrell, only 8 points away from each other going into tonight's race. CJ LeVere, Rhett McBride, Brian Harvey, all having great seasons. They will finish in the top 5. John Abbott, Doug Wyatt, Douglas Roth, Randy Watkins, and Matt Lacrosse will round out your top 10 here in this series tonight. All the points are still subject to change, but everyone's eyes are on Stefan Marinak and Bobby Terrell at the top. Currently, Bobby Terrell sitting second in qualifying order and Stefan Marinak sitting 8th. So Bobby Terrell in an excellent position to pick up those bonus points he needs. Marinak has to climb the ladder a little bit, and anytime you add traffic to Homestead Miami Speedway, it makes it a particularly dangerous place to race.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's not the qualifying run that Marinak was looking for. He was pretty quick in practice, more than a full 10th faster in practice, just wasn't able to pull it off in qualifying. Bobby Terrell, as you mentioned, pretty much backed up within 100th of what he ran in practice, and Chad Coleman with a pickup currently on the provisional pole, looking to hold on as the 3.5 minutes run out of this qualifying session. But that's one of those things you really got to be wary about is Stefan has to deal with that traffic, and the farther back you start, the more likely you are to be involved in an accident.
Of course, the racing does not end tonight for the RSR Series, or Icebreaker Winter Series, getting ready to heat up here in just a couple of weeks' time. First race, the November 25th, will be at Michigan. You want to find out more? Go to RealSimRacing.com or Google Real Sim Racing, or on their homepage, right on the front, the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series. And I've got a feeling that some of the rivalries and some of the different things you see out there on the track tonight are going to carry over to the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series. Let's go ahead and step aside. It's about the time, for the last time, for our pre-race ceremonies to happen for Real Sim Racing. Let's step away from the microphone as we get ready for our pre-race ceremonies and the national anthem of this great nation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Cactus Cuties with the national anthem and the virtual Thunderbirds with the flyover, about to go racing here at Homestead, Miami. 17 drivers have taken time here in qualifying. Bobby Terrell in second. He will start on the outside of row number 1. Stefan Marinak will start on the row outside of row number 4. Not a whole lot of cars between your 2 points leaders tonight, but it might be enough to give Bobby Terrell an early edge in the points. Harry, we've seen these guys go back and forth the last 10 weeks. We've seen them go back and forth all season. 36 races. It all comes to a head tonight. What are your thoughts just initially into what we're going to see this evening?
I think, we're going to need to see a mistake on the part of the 24 car, or just to get caught in an unfortunate circumstance, or possibly get stuck high, because I think he's going to have the speed, especially on older tires. Marinak has shown over the course of this season that he can qualify mid-pack, make his way forward, usually without incident, and so he wants to continue that trend tonight. But it's going to be tough to keep his nose clean. Something else to look out for is this field is we've seen some really big fields this season. This one's going to have about 23, 24 cars. That usually brings about more green flag racing. And the Midnight Thunder race here a few weeks ago went cautionless at Homestead. If we go cautionless, Marinak's going to lose some valuable seconds on the track, as he has to come through traffic a little bit, so he won't be able to keep up with the lead draft right at first.
We've seen this race go cautionless in the Midnight Thunder in the World Championship Series. We saw it go with the minimal caution flags. Tonight, we are going to see a barn burner for the real sim racing Asphalt Assault B Series finale here at Homestead, Miami. Let's go ahead and take you down tonight's starting lineup. Chad Coleman in the 6 machine will be your first driver to roll off and turning in a qualifying time of 31.991 seconds. Outside of him, the man who wants to be champion, Bobby Terrell, starts on the outside in the 7 machine.
In row number 2, good qualifying runs for the number 15 of Rhett McBride, rolling off third, as well as the number 38 of Mark Bratcher.
Row number 3 belongs to Stephen Maddox on the inside in position number 5. Outside of him, David Lanza in the 33, starts 6th.
Starting 7th will be the number 5 car of A.J. Browning. Alongside him, current points leader Stefan Marinak in the 24.
Your administrator here in the B Series, John Abbott, starts in the 9th position in car number 10. Outside of him, Doug Roth in the 43, starts on the outside of row number 5. It's a pace car, starts rolling these cars around.
Starting 11th will be the 16 Ford Mustang of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. Alongside of him, that Miller Genuine Draft Scheme, number 77, Randall Watkins.
CJ LaVere, third in points, starts in the 13th position in the 4. The Ford 03 of Nathan Mowers starts 14th.
Jose Gonzalez is going to look to charge from the 15th qualifying position. Alongside him is the 57 of Barry Hines.
Adam Roberts, the last one to take time out here in the 88 machine. He'll start on the inside of row number 9. Outside of him, Mike Shelton in the 34, 18th.
Starting 19th will be the number 84 of Jimmy North. Alongside him, the 99 of Josh Cheney.
Doug Wyatt, Ed Williams, John Wilco, Steve Herring, the last four on the qualifying grid tonight. A field of 24, a much shorter field than what we normally see here. But tonight, it's all about two drivers. Bobby Terrell in second place, Stefan Marinak in eighth. Pace car getting ready to start 110 laps here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And for what's going to be arguably the most dramatic race of the real sim racing Asphalt Assault B Series we've seen here on LSRTV. Pace car goes in. It is all in the capable hands of Chad Coleman, Bobby Terrell. Green flag flies, and Chad Coleman will officially lead the first lap here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Bobby behind when they start lining up. Closest battle on the track is now for that fifth place position between the 33 of David Lanza and the 11 of Steve Maddox.
Yeah, Maddox with a solid qualifying run trying to get by that 33, but Lanza just pulls him on the back straightaway, able to retain fifth position. 11 still looking below him. You notice these guys running sort of the middle of the racetrack. The groove with the most grip is about a lane off of the bottom, so you tend to run about a lane high and then sweep it wide on corner exit. But right now, Chad Coleman able to lead that first lap. Bobby Terrell getting under pressure from the number 15 of Rhett McBride. Another solid qualifying run for Rhett. And Bobby looking to retain position right now. Marinak did a good job of getting to the bottom, currently in eighth. That 24 car is looking underneath the 5 of Browning, and Browning's going to give him plenty of room, not wanting to cause any troubles for any of the drivers in the championship hunt.
A.J. Browning now side by side with points leader Stefan Marinak. Marinak wasting no time trying to get up through the group, up to the top of this field, and hopefully in position to win a championship. You see him now get around A.J. Browning with relative ease. Score Marinak in the seventh place position when we get back into when we come back across the line. Meanwhile, up front, Chad Coleman still holding on to the top position. Bobby Terrell happy to run in second. Nobody challenging second in points for that second place position.
Yeah, and as Bobby was able to tuck into second place, it just puts more work on the shoulders of that 24 car as passing's not going to come too easy here. The low line the low line to these drivers pretty much is that second lane, and but the high side is able to retain a lot of momentum here. And Marinak doing what he seems to have been done, or what he has done for most of the season, which has been pretty conservative at the start. But as these tires wear, he can be fast on newer tires, but he tends to watch those tires, make sure that he doesn't heat up the right front or the right rear, and just keep it underneath him, and hope to be just the fastest car on the long run. But that 7 car is one to look out for. I mentioned the Midnight Thunder that went cautionless. Bobby Terrell actually won that race. Stefan Marinak was not in that race, so those drivers couldn't really get a good read. However, they do run a different setup for that series. Very similar, but half fuel, and that makes a much tighter race car. These guys running a little bit looser here tonight.
Battle now for third between the 38 of Mark Brachter and the 15 of Rhett McBride. Brachter now finding some luck on the low side, able to get around the 15. Can he hold on, though, through turns 1 and 2? Rhett McBride down to the fourth place position in that 15 car. Mark Brachter moves up to third in the 38. Now behind him, they're starting to stack up a little bit and get some moves going. The 11 now under fire from the 24, Stefan Marinak. That's Steve Maddox on the outside lane. Steve Maddox may not be able to hold on. We've seen the outside lane be slow to start tonight. The 11 going way high, trying to get as much run as he can. Try to borrow some draft from the 33 of David Lanza. They are still side by side as they cross the line going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, and as these guys start racing harder from third all the way back to Stefan Marinak in seventh, what that does is it gives Chad Coleman and Bobby Terrell up there at the front of the field the ability to pull away from them. That lead has stretched from second to third. It's about 0.7 of a second right now, and they continue to be side by side for third. The 15 of McBride working underneath the 38 of Bratcher, and that condenses this group all together as Lanza's looking underneath Bratcher. Maddox still under attack from that 24 of Marinak, and these guys just continue to battle here. The difference between second and third right now, 0.9 of a second.
Rhett McBride gets his position back in the 15. He's now scored back in third. Mark Brachter in the 38, back in fourth. Meanwhile, for the sixth place position, Stephen Maddox in the 11, under fire from Marinak in the 24. He's finally found a way to get around the 11, and get around him he will in convincing fashion. Marinak now moves up to the 6th place position, and he's got his eyes fixed on the 33 of David Lanza. Meanwhile, back up front, it's all about the 6 and 7. Chad Coleman up front. Bobby Terrell starting to now poke the nose underneath, see if he can maybe get a run around that 6 machine. Bobby Terrell knows he needs those bonus points. He needs them in a bad way tonight. He needs to at least pick up the 1 bonus point for leading a lap. He also needs to pick up 1 for leading the most laps, which he's going to try to do this time by in 3 and 4. Bobby Terrell gets the nose underneath. Chad Coleman gets way out of the way of the man's second end points. Bobby Terrell will lead his first lap on lap number 9.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted to do early in the going. You know, after last week's victory for Bobby at Phoenix, when we spoke to him, he mentioned that he felt pretty good about Homestead, but he felt pretty good about the long run at Homestead more than anything. He wasn't sure what he would have on the short run, but he said that he thought that he'd be in pretty good shape on the long run. And these cars tend to fall off. The most that they're going to fall off is within the first 10 laps. And so 10 laps are up. Bobby rode in second for those 10 laps, able to get underneath the 6 of Coleman, get to the lead. And so things going according to plan right now for that 7 car. And they didn't lose too much ground on the guys behind them. Rhett McBride able to chase them down a little bit, actually in third. It's been hard racing. The 24 Marinac side by side with the 38 of Bratcher. That's competing for the 5th position, but I tell you what, 38 of Bratcher, good qualifying run, running good so far, able to hold off that 24 Marinac right now.
Bratcher holds off the 24 Marinac with relative ease. The 24 had nobody help him on that low side, so he was stuck behind in traffic trying to get around. No dice that time by. Marinac goes back into traffic behind Mark Bratcher, and Bratcher, now happy as a clam, be running top 5. David Lanza in the 33 in 4th, and here comes the 24 again. The 11 not going to help him out. It's a drag race between the 24 and the 38. 11 not sure which line he wants to go into. It is now into 3 and 4. 24 Marinac has the run. 38 of Bratcher not going to let him get it if he can. The 11 decides to go with the 24. Move the Bratcher back to 6th. Stefan Marinac now up to 5th.
Yeah, sometimes it could be pretty difficult to pull off those passes when the pack isn't racing too hard, because they all sweep high on the straightaways. All the draft is up against the wall. Marinac didn't have the draft. Now 24 pretty loose. Coming out of turn number 2, Bratcher is alongside Stephen Maddox. Maddox looking to get the 6th position as Bratcher comes off the wall a little bit before the turn 3 entry. Almost contact. Might have been a little bit of contact, but Maddox drives it into turn 3. That 11 car is going to take that 6th position.
Meanwhile, back in the field, the 77 of Randy Watkins trying to get around the 57 machine of Barry Hines. On paper, it would be Randy Watkins up to position number 16, but they continue to run in formation side by side, the 57 and the 77. The 84 of Jimmy North also looking for some position out there, but he's not going to pick a line, so he's going to have to wait for one of these 2 drivers to make a mistake. No 3-wide racing here. You just won't see it. This track is too narrow and doesn't have enough grip to go 3-wide all the way around. Meanwhile, here still battling and jockeying around. David Lanza in the 33 in 4th. Stefan Marinac in 5th. And now it's the 11 machine. Now, 11 machine, that is Stephen Maddox, starting to get a little bit of position on the 38 of Bratcher and the 5 of A.J. Browning. Tequila Joe works his way up to the 9th place position. And John Abbott, your administrator here in the Asphalt Assault Series, rounds out your top 10. Remember, Harry, the magic number for Bobby Terrell tonight is 6th. The number 24 of Marinac has to finish 6th or worse if Bobby Terrell picks up the bonus lap and leads the most laps. But now you see the 24 get around the 33 in relative ease, moving up the 24 of Marinac into 4th. I'm not sure that can happen.
Yeah, Marinac has been just so strong, especially on these big tracks. I think he said last week that he prefers the speedways. It sort of fits into his style. Compared to last week at Phoenix and this week at Homestead, when you go to these big tracks, you just have to be very precise with the wheel, and you do have to be precise with the throttle a lot of these big tracks as well. And it's sort of a different style of how you let the car hang out. It sort of fits into Marinac's style for sure. And but one of the things to worry about right now is as we ride on board with Abbott, looking at this battle up in front of him, multiple cars all working. 2 groups of 3 really between 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 7th, 8th, and 9th. But Marinac, the one thing to worry about for him is once he's able to drive away from the 33 of Lanza, get closer to those top guys. McBride's sort of losing touch with the leaders, but Chad Coleman able to stick with Terrell. So what that does for Bobby is it gives him a little extra draft up there in the lead. Marinak might be losing his help soon. And so you can certainly use the draft to your advantage. I mean, these cars are lifting. They're partial throttle through the center of the corner all the way to the exit. But that draft has a big effect on these straightaways because these cars are only making about 600 horsepower.
As the 10 machine of John Abbott gets around the 38 of Bratcher, the number 43 of Doug Roth wants to come along for the ride as well. He may be able to. Next time by, score Abbott in the 9th position. Meanwhile, looks like there might be some trouble on the track. Yes, there is. 99 machine barrel rolling through the turns 3 and 4. That will bring out the first caution flag of the night. Josh Cheney gets punted after he can't control it through the turns. The 03 machine to him, and that sends a 99 into some barrel rolls. You have to be grateful at this moment. It is sim racing. Otherwise, there would definitely be an ambulance waiting for Josh Cheney.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was a crazy ride. And where that all started was coming out of turn number 2. Josh Cheney, one of the drivers who tends to start from the back, likes to come through the field, usually doesn't put up a qualifying lap. And he qualified, he started this race 15th, or excuse me, he started the race 20th, had driven up to 15th. And this wreck coming out of turn number 2, he was trying to get a run underneath the 88 of Adam Roberts, didn't quite have the momentum. So as he tried to get back in line, Adam Roberts actually bounced it off the wall a little bit, lost a little momentum. So that 99 tried to fit in behind the 88, and the 88 lost that momentum, and that caused him to misjudge it and make contact with his left rear quarter panel, and goes into the inside wall, drifts back onto the track. Heavy contact from the 03 of Nathan Bowers. Both those cars severely damaged, but what a wild ride for that 99.
If we can, let's get a replay of that incident from the perspective of the 99 machine. Josh Cheney, what an incredible ride, what an incredible incident he had out there. As now you see guys down on pit road getting service to their machines, among them Chad Coleman, Rhett McBride. Bobby Terrell loses the lead. Stefan Marinak will come out right behind him. Steve Maddox now in 5th, Dave Lanza in 6th, it looks like. Pit stops coming and going, and the biggest news here is Bobby Terrell loses his position on the pole, and immediately behind him, the 24 of Stefan Marinak. Those two cars will restart side by side.
Yeah, it looks like all of these guys were able to take 4 tires. No pit strategy here, but not the fastest pit stop in the world for that 7 car, and he will have to restart from 3rd.
So Bobby Terrell will have to restart from 3rd. Stefan Marinak will have to restart for 4th. The good news for the number 7 of Terrell is that he will get to start on the inside, which seems to be the preferred line. But Marinak has been able to find speed all over this speedway. These two drivers have been in incredible contention throughout this entire season. 22 of the 35 races have been won in this series by one of these two drivers you see on your screen. But they have between them 21 of 35 races won between them. 21 top fives these two drivers share. 27 top tens these two drivers share out there. And Marinak, 11% of the poles have belonged to him. Bobby Terrell, 17% of the poles have belonged to him. Both of these drivers have run an incredible season, a season that fairy tales are made of, and neither one should be ashamed at all of their run all season long.
Yeah, it's certainly been an incredible string of top 5s, wins, top 10s, class of the field by far. As these drivers work through 3 and 4, pace car lights are out, they're coming to the restart, and one driver actually did stay out on the racetrack. That's the number 26. Actually, the caution has been extended, delayed caution, so not this time by, but next time by. But that 26 car of Jose Gonzalez, he had started the race from 15th, driven up to 8th position, leading up to that caution. Decides to stay out here and see how track position works, but I think we went far enough that might have not been the call to make. However, Jose Gonzalez and that Miami Dolphin scheme here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, actually see PuertoRico.com on the side skirts of that car, but he's going to try to do what he can to stay up there with older tires.
Jose Gonzalez has nothing to lose at this juncture in the race. He's 16th in points. He just wants to go out there and have fun, and who can blame him? Tequila Joe's always a threat to win these races here in the RSR Asphalt Assault B Series, and he might be able to pull it off tonight if he can make sure he gets all the right marks and all the right moves. Chad Coleman will restart on the outside of row number 1. Red McBride, Bobby Terrell, your second row. Stefan Marinak, Steve Maddox, your third row. Dave Lanza, AJ Browning in the fourth row. And Mark Brachter and John Abbott round out the top 5 rows here on Homestead, Miami. It's lap 22. When we go back to Green Flag Racing, they will be scoring lap 23, and all eyes will be on the 7 and 24, only a position away from each other as they get ready to go back Green Flag Racing. What will they do? How will they handle it? We will find out as the pace car makes the turn down pit road as soon as he gets the signal to do so.
One thing we can count on is these drivers are going to race each other with a lot of respect, as Jose can control the field, goes right shortly after the pace car makes that turn out to a commanding lead here as we approach turn 1, and Chad Coleman able to clear the McBride in the 15 to pull down into the second position, as Terrell right now side by side with the 15 of McBride. Marinak didn't have the greatest of restarts, currently running 5th as Jose in the 26. Whoa, gets really loose through 1 and 2. That's to the advantage of the 6 of Coleman. Caution is back out of the speedway, though. Looks like involved is the 62 of Wilco, as well as the 16 of Turnmeyer.
The number 16 of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. calling that incident. Looks like he just overdrove it into the turn, wasn't able to save it. Clips the 57 and the 62. I believe that was a 57 he clipped. Yes, it was. The 57 machine and the 62. Heavy damage on the 16 machine as a result of that incident. Now smoke billowing out of the 62 machine of John Wilco. Marvin Turnmeyer Jr.'s night is done. John Wilco's night, for all intents and purposes, done. And Barry Hines, he might be done as well. Heavy damage on that 57 machine.
Yeah, that's a tough deal. And looking back at that restart, what caused this was Jimmy North went to the middle of the racetrack looking above Turnmeyer. They were 3 wide for a little bit down the front stretch, and by the time they got to turn 1, they were clear of the 77 of Randall Watkins. We're back to 2 wide. Turnmeyer was trying to give room and was running right near the white line, and there's actually a little bit less grip down there, and that's why these drivers running about a lane above that. And so easier to spin the tires, and he got the car loose, saved it, but it got loose again, and at that point overcorrected into the 57 of Hines, and tough break for Hines as well as John Wilco, as you mentioned. Wilco's car, a lot of damage, and I don't believe he's going to be able to continue.
A lot of emotion being expressed by both Turnmeyer Jr. and John Wilco as a result of that incident. Both drivers have pulled off the track, and their nights will be done as a result of that incident. Pace car lights remain on, and nobody really coming down the attention of the pit road, considering they just came down moments ago. The 65 of Ed Williams will come down for attention. The 57 of Barry Hines, he's going to try to get as much repaired on that 57 machine as he can before they go back to Green Flag Racing. And Mark Bratcher also down on pit road trying to get something done on that machine to see if he can stay in contention in this race. Lap 25 currently being scored. Tequila Joe up front. Chad Coleman second. Bobby Terrell third. Rhett McBride fourth. Stefan Marinak rounds out your top 5. As the points stand right now, Bobby Terrell has only made up 3 points on Stefan Marinak. Not enough to win the championship. He needs to shake Marinak, and he needs to shake him in a hurry, lose him in traffic somehow, which might be easier said than done.
Certainly easier said than done. Marinak, very cool, calm, and collected throughout these races. We've seen him come through traffic, keep his nose clean, and do a really good job of being there at the end. Certainly, he and Terrell have been models of consistency. And as Jose in the lead catches that caution before losing the lead, he got a glimpse of just how much grip he's lacking compared to his competitors who came down and took 4 tires. And so he has an idea of what his car is going to do. Another thing that this caution does is it cools his tires down, and he's able to regroup, and it balances out a little bit, but it's still not balanced out. The 26 car's at a serious tire disadvantage, but cautions help in balancing that kind of thing out. But caught that caution right before Coleman was going to be able to squeeze on by. This restart, Bobby Terrell going to be restarting on the inside instead of the outside, and Marinak's going to be on the inside as well. Those 2 drivers will be restarting 3rd and 5th.
They will be nose to tail when the green flag flies once again. And number 98 is Stephen Herring will get the lucky dog this time by. That will put him back on the lead lap in the 19th position. Adam Roberts, Josh Cheney, and Nathan Bowers all no longer on the lead lap. Marvin Turnmeyer Jr., John Wilco have retired for the evening. Jose Gonzalez will restart on the point. Chad Coleman second. It'll be the number 7 of Bobby Terrell third. Rhett McBride fourth. Stephen Marinac rounding out your top 5. Dave Lanza, John Abbott, AJ Browning, Stephen Maddox, and Doug Roth round out your top 10 out here. All these names you've heard week after week in the RSR Asphalt Assault B Series presented by Inside Sim Racing as the base car lights go off this time by. One more lap before we go back to green flag racing. Not even a third of the way done here tonight, and already carnage and broken race cars all over the track. Are we destined to see more of that, you think, Harry?
It's a tough call. With only 18 on the lead lap, sometimes that just does result in a lot of green flag racing. So these drivers, even in much bigger fields than this, were able to keep it green. But you never really know. Racing's an unpredictable thing. We've got three cars out of the race, 3 cars out of the race, 3 cars in the race, but multiple laps down, and then 18 on the lead lap. And so, but that's one of those things. Cautions breed cautions, and you always got to be aware, especially on these restarts and for the first few laps after the restart.
Pace car leading him through one more time into turns 3 and 4. Jose Gonzalez, Chad Coleman on the front row. Bobby Terrell third, Stephen Marinac fifth. It's going to be more of the same crazy racing. When we go back to green flag racing, pace car is out. Green flag getting ready to fly. Jose Gonzalez in command of this race.
They actually delayed the caution at the last minute there as they try to sort something out. I believe they just, I'm not sure. I was thinking that they gave an analog sign penalty to the 10 car, but I don't believe that's the case. Although I might be missing something. But we will be going green next time by, so that takes another lap off of the books under caution. We're 28 laps into this one. When we go green, we're looking at about 82 laps to go. And so another lap off the ticker. That Miami Dolphins car continues to lead and continues to take a few of those laps away from potential laps led by either Bobby or Stefan. And so that certainly has an effect on this championship picture as well. This isn't like other sports where, you're only facing your rival for the championship on that final game or final day, final race. You're out there against everyone, and it has an effect.
When you're racing for your championship against 25 of the best sim racing drivers in all of iRacing, it does have a very serious effect on what you can and can't do out there at Homestead, Miami. Both these drivers, your championship drivers, Bobby Terrell, Stephen Marinac, very cognizant of that fact, as this time they should go back to green flag racing once again. Jose Gonzalez, Chad Coleman on the front. Bobby Terrell, Rhett McBride behind them. Stephen Marinac, David Lanza at row number 3, AJ Browning, Doug Ross, Steve Maddox, Jimmy North, all getting ready for the restart. Green flag flies. Tequila Joe gets the jump once again in the alcohol-fueled 26 machine. He's got a big run. Here comes Chad Coleman and Rhett McBride on the high side. Bobby Terrell lets the 6 in front of him. And now Stephen Marinac in the 24 has to get around the 15, has to keep up with the 7 to keep his champion alive. Uh-oh, 7 in trouble now. 7 almost loses it off of turns 1 and 2, able to save it. Not what he needed.
Yeah, what a save, though. Lost a position out of it, and that all started because Jose, out there in front of everyone, got really loose coming out of 2. Chad Coleman had to back off or got loose himself because of it. Bobby, same exact thing. Those drivers 4 tires, but a lot of times you back off at an awkward time and it just loses the balance of the car. As we ride on board with that 24 of Marinac up to the 4th position, looking at the 7 of Terrell. Terrell able to get back into the 3rd, avoided, almost went right into the grass, did a great job to salvage that race car before anything bad happened. And Jose, slightly less loose than the first lap, but you could tell that 26 car just yawed out, and Bobby wants to get by him as soon as possible. Going to look low, go down the front straightaway.
Looking low, wasting no time. Jose Gonzalez on the outside. He's going to let the 7 of Bobby Terrell by, and here comes the 24 of Stefan Marinak. The 26 not looking in a hurry to get in front of the 24. In fact, he's just going to be happy to ride along with the 7. The 15 also going to, Rhett McBride, also going to look underneath the 26. 24 will get around him this time by with no issues whatsoever. 26 knows this car is loose. He needs to let the championship drivers around and do the sportsmanlike thing and let them run for their championship. Terrell Marinak second and third. Chad Coleman remains in front.
Yeah, Coleman continues to lead. He led the first 10 laps of the race, led about the last 3 or 4 as Jose Gonzalez, I tell you, I was really worried about that call of staying out, but it looks like his tires are going to be able to keep up a little better than I thought as he's all over the back bumper of Marinak. Marinak, though, able to drive into turn 3 deeper with those tires. Gonzalez has the 15 of McBride on his rear bumper, and right behind McBride, that 33 of Lanza doing a great job of keeping up as well. So 6 cars all in the row, top 6, all within about 1 second of each other. But Coleman right now, the biggest advantage. Currently about 7 car lengths on that 7 car, Bobby Terrell, but Marinak now running as high as he has all race. And so, Bobby can win this race, but Stefan, if he's able to finish third or better, it would simply wrap it up. And so Bobby knows that there are going to have to be other factors to get involved if Marinak is able to run third for the rest of the night.
Almost trouble coming out of turns 3 and 4. Check out trap 3 and 4 as the 88 of Adam Roberts 1 lap down. Almost got into the 77 of Randall Watkins, currently running 13th. Now there's CJ LeVere, second in points. He's running 14th behind that 77 machine, trying to keep up with him, trying to get a run on him and potentially get around. The 4 now being boxed in by the 88 machine. The 4 almost giving a little bump draft to the 77 machine, thinks better of it. But now the 88 machine of Adam Roberts, despite being a lap down, has the advantage, and the 4 of CJ LeVere will not get the pass on the 7 of Randall Watkins. Meanwhile, back up front, everybody's still running single file in line. The 57 of Barry Hines back on track, and he couldn't have chosen a worse time to try to figure out how to get back on track as that entire front group gets around him to put him another lap down, score him 4 laps down as he gets back on track.
Yeah, that 57 heavily damaged as leaders came. He threw it onto the apron, tried to get out of the way, and did successfully. No incident there. But now these top 3 are really starting to edge away from the rest of the field. They're about a 10th to a 10th and a half faster than third on back. McBride doing a good job of hanging on. But the 2 fastest cars that last lap were, the fastest car that lap was Bobby Terrell, the 7 car, 32.64. That's about 0.6 off of the qualifying laps. Marinak only 100th off of that. And so both these drivers running a really good pace as Terrell works right up to the back bumper of that 6 of Coleman, looking to retake the lead, just like he did 10 laps into this thing.
Stefan Marinak still starting to dig, though, starting to catch up on your leaders. He is reeling in the 7 and the 6 very, very quickly as Terrell keeps debating whether or not he wants to try to find the line underneath the 6 machine of Chad Coleman. Coleman not giving a whole lot of room for the 7, which was what makes the Homestead Miami such an entertaining place to go racing. The passing line for the number 6, for anybody, the passing line is very, very slim. You have to wait for the driver in front of you to almost make a mistake before you can capitalize on it, or you need to force the issue out there. Bobby Terrell knows if he forces the issue, he could end his night, so he's not going to do that. The 24 is keeping at least 2 car lengths between him and the 2 leaders to make sure he can control anything that might happen, mitigate any issues that might happen in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marinak just driving really smart right now. I don't think Marinak is thinking I got to go out there and lead every lap. But as we go deeper into this green flag run, should we see green flag pit stops, that's something to worry about as well. At Homestead, you have to use the access roads on pit road entry and pit road exit. And we've seen it with the professionals on the NASCAR circuit. We've seen it in any given sim race. When you enter pit road here, entering turn 3 on the access road, you're coming in there quite hot. Very easy to slip up, get loose, catch the grass, and ruin that pit stop entry. And so that's something that these guys are going to have to worry about, because I do think that's going to come into play this race, as we have currently 18 cars on the lead lap, and surely spreading out. We have the top 9 all within about 2 seconds of the leader, top 12 all within 3.5 seconds, and then there's quite a distance back to 13th, 13th through 16th running together about 6.5 seconds behind the leader, and then the last two cars in the lead lap really with a gap between them. And so I think this race is really going to look to have a green flag run here for quite a while. Of course, I could be wrong, and I have been wrong in the past. I will be wrong in the future, but it just seems to me that these drivers are going to have to think about that green flag pit stop.
Battle now brewing between the 10 and the 11 machine. John Abbott currently in 6th. Steve Maddox in the 11 in 7th. Not able to complete the pass, but the 10 of Abbott's going to go way high, open the door for both the 11 and the 33 of David Lanza. Now the 10 and 11 side by side once again. That is for position number 6. The 10 just seems faster on the stretch and not so much in the turn. They will continue to do battle for that 6th place position that John Abbott currently holds. As we get ready to continue running here, they are over 13. They are over a third of the way through. Lead change up front. Bobby Terrell back in the lead position. Stefan Marinak follows him right through. So once again, Marinak immediately on the tail of Terrell, and Terrell continues to run in the lead of this race. Even if he picks up both the bonus points, that would only be a 3-point deficit, or 3-point deficit that he gaps up. Not enough to pass Marinak for the championship.
Yeah, Chad Coleman just got a little bit loose. Coming out of turn 2, that car sliding, and Bobby able to get underneath, Marinak able to follow him on through. And one of the drivers that's really joined the picture here, that 15 of Rhett McBride, was a little bit back, able to make up about 15 car lengths or so that he was lacking. Drove up on these guys as they've been racing. Even when they were single file, 15 car has a lot of speed in it right now, so that's a 4-way battle in that lead picture. And Gonzalez with the older, Jose Gonzalez has not pitted this race whatsoever, which means that his green flag pit stop is going to come about 15 to 20 laps earlier than everyone else, but he's managed to stay in the 5th position. And so I question his pit call a little bit, but it's working out pretty well so far.
Still working out is Terrell up front, the 24 of Stefan Marinak, happy to run in 2nd right now behind the 7, the 6 of Chad Coleman, the 15 of Rhett McBride, and Jose Gonzalez still holding on to position number 5. Meanwhile, the 11 of Steve Maddox has found a way to get around the 10. He'll be in 6th, the 34 of Mike Shelton picking up big position as well. He moves up to 7th. The 33 of Dave Lanza not able to hold on, and now the 10 of John Abbott starting to fall back a little bit. A.J. Browning in the 5 picks up position. Now the 43 of Doug Roth wants to be the one that puts a 10 out of the top 10. Will he do it this time? Behind 10, tried to throw the block, unsuccessfully able to do so. Doug Roth on the inside of the 10 in the 43 machine. The 43 will move up to position number 10. Lead has not changed. They continue to run in single file up front. Terrell, Marinak, Coleman, Rhett McBride. Tonight's race brought to you with minimum commercial interruption thanks to JDR Graphics. We appreciate their contribution to LSRTV tonight. Let's continue to go. Oh, we have trouble on the track. Looks like it's a 34 of Mike Shelton. He is in the grass. He's able to save it. Back on track. Almost scary moments for Mike Shelton.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to stay green here after a phenomenal save. He was looking underneath the 11 of Maddox entering turn 1. That 34 car just using a little bit of that very bottom groove to help him turn, and simply got loose in the center, and then they got to the exit. He thought he had it saved, and then the car snapped out on him again. And so he had a great save going on the backstretch, had to run through the grass. I guess save the landscaping folks here at Homestead Miami Speedway a couple of minutes worth of work. But Mike Shelton losing valuable track position and a number of seconds on the track as he was running in the 7th position, falling back to 12th, but a close call and a great job to keep this race still green.
Race remains green, and they continue to run out here. While we have a moment, let's go ahead and step away from the microphones and let you enjoy the racing at home. Tonight's race brought to you with limited commercial interruption by JDR Graphics. Find them online at jdrgraphics.com. Let's go ahead and get the speakers ready. It's time to crank it up. Bobby Terrell continues to lead out here on last. We're currently scoring lap number 55. Stephen Marinak in second. Rhett McBride third. Chad Coleman fourth. David Lanza rounds out your top five. One car going in down to pit road during that green flag run. That was Jose Gonzalez. He has currently scored one lap down as a result, but he came in for his first routine pit stop. He did not come down during the caution flag, so now we know these cars can run plus or minus 45 laps under a full green run, which means these guys are only going to need 1.5 more pit stops to get all the way through, and your premonition about the green flag pit stops, Harry, that might come to play sooner rather than later.
Yeah, certainly. This is one of the more difficult pit roads to enter. Dover is another difficult one just because it's easy to miss, but here there's a lot of time to gain and a lot of time to lose on that access road. And as we're working right now, looking at complete lap 56, we just passed the halfway point 1 lap ago. As we run deeper into this run, Chad Coleman in the 6 car losing touch with the top 3 right now, lost that draft. However, Rhett McBride doing a good job of keeping up with those top 2, the 2 leaders right now, Bobby Terrell as well as Marinak. And Marinak doing what he has to do. All he really has to do is pace Bobby, and that will guarantee the championship for the 24 car. However, halfway into this race, a lot could happen, a lot could change. And certainly those green flag pit stops, you cannot have any mistakes whatsoever. These drivers probably going to stay out as long as they can to ensure that they don't have to deal with a wave round and have to make up a bunch of lost track position. And so these drivers are probably going to be able to stretch it to, I would say, lap 65, 70, 75, somewhere in that window of the next 10 or 12 laps. We'll see a lot of these drivers come down pit road.
Which would make it a very, very tight race towards the end of the race, which will make a whole lot of drama left to be had. Bobby Terrell still up front, Stephen Marinak in second, and everyone running single file throughout this field. Doug Wyatt Hippie himself about to get passed by the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Hippie, though, he's currently running 15th. He's got nothing to worry about as a 26, still a lap down, 2 laps down, I should say, from everybody else on the field. Check it out, 1 lap down for Jose Gonzalez. But Hippie, you got trouble on the track now, I'm hearing. 38 in trouble.
Yeah, Mark Bratcher goes around in turn 1. Also collected, I believe, was the 77 of Randall Watkins. And this is going to be, make Jose take a wave round. But it looks like coming down the front stretch here in this accident, the 77 of Watkins looks low in the 38 of Bratcher. And Bratcher turned down the track. That's one of those debatable wrecks. The bottom groove for these race cars pretty much is a lane off of the bottom. And so Bratcher, I think, expected the 77 to either back out or run lower on that track. That takes green flag pit stops out of the equation. These drivers going to come down pit road here under the caution period, and they're going to be actually pretty close on the window. I think they would have to. There might be a little bit of fuel saving actually, based on my calculations. Might see a couple people be able to make it the rest of the way. Not sure if everyone can. But they're going to have to go about 48 laps under green, 47 laps under green. I think that's doable, but we're going to find out if they're short at all. Field strategy again going to come into play.
Bobby Terrell will lead them down pit road. Stephen Marinak, Rhett McBride, Chad Coleman, David Lanza and company all coming to the attention of their crews this time by. Nobody going to leave anything to chance out there as Terrell will lead them down. Stephen Marinak, the first one to pull into his pit stall. Whatever he does, so will the rest of the field. Look for at least 2 tires in the 24 machine. Might be a 4-tire stop for Marinak. Will it be? It is going to be a 4-tire stop for Marinak. Everybody in front of him also electing to take 4 tires. The 7 takes 4 tires. Coleman takes 4 tires. Rhett McBride takes 4 tires. Back up front, it is the 7 who gets out first. 15 of Rhett McBride now in second. Stephen Marinak loses the position. He will drop down to third. Chad Coleman picks up position. He moves from 5th to 3rd or 4th, and David Lanza moves up from 5th to 6th. Big loser in that pit stop. Looks like it's going to be not sure exactly who lost them as a matter of that pit stop, but a lot of drivers picked up position. Browning, Maddox, Abbott all pick up a little bit of position out there as well. Terrell continues to lead. He is looking for that a bonus point for leading the most laps here at Homestead, Miami, and he's on a good way to get it.
Yeah, certainly doing what he has to do. that great pit stop. Jose Gonzalez is in front of him on the track. However, that's a wave-around car, and that is going to put Jose back on the lead lap with tires, a little bit of a tire disadvantage by about 10 laps, but he's going to be able to pass a number of the guys and come through the field. We saw him hang around 5th there before he had to make his green flag pit stop right around lap 50, if I recall. And so Jose going to take the wave around. Bobby going to be in control on this restart with about 46 laps to go. And Stefan Marinak going to be right on his tail up there in 3rd. And Red McBride, I tell you what, Homestead in the past has led to some interesting winners, and Rhett McBride looking to take home a victory tonight as he's been hanging with these guys, and he lost a little bit of ground on one of the past restarts, able to catch back up with the leaders and hang with them. And so that 15, that's a dark horse. You might want to put a little money on him.
Rhett McBride currently sitting in the top 10 in points, currently 4th, one of only 6 drivers to run all 35 races so far, run the entire season here at Real Sim Racing. He's been a strong contender all throughout the season. He will finish solidly 4th in points, 2 poles, 1 win, 10 top 5s, 16 top 10s to his campaign this year. So Rhett McBride has a lot going for him. He's really showed his potential this year, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's not competing for the win tonight. He is going to be a driver that you will hear from in the Icebreaker Series this winter, and maybe in the Asphalt Assault B Series once again next year.
Yeah, and Rhett actually had a heartbreaker just a few weeks ago. We were at the Dover International Speedway, and Rhett McBride and John Abbott were playing the fuel strategy. Both were contending for that win. Looked like it was going to be all Rhett coming to the finish. Rhett ran out of gas on the backstretch of the final lap, came home in 2nd, and just was really disappointed. I mean, happy with a 2nd place finish. It's a good points day. All that stuff that you're supposed to say, but he was really disheartened about that 2nd place finish because he knew he might have just let one slip away just a little bit. But I tell you what here, it would be oh so sweet to win this race over the guys competing for the championship without having fuel mileage come into play.
And he's in a good position to right now, currently restarting in the 2nd place position. Pace car lights are off this time by, but we might have at least one more run out here, one more parade lap on this field. We will have to see if they throw the caution flag and extend this one more time. Pace car showing no intention to do that, though, as the lights remain off. As it stands right now, Terrell, McBride, Marinak, Coleman, Lanza, Browning, Maddox, Abbott, Shelton, North, rounding out your top 10. And it will be, looks like we're going back to green flag racing this time by pace car. No indication he's going to turn back on the lights. We're going. Now when we hit the stripe, pace car is going to get the heck out of the way this time by in the hands of Bobby Terrell. Marinak immediately on his bumper. Green flag flies, and the 7 of Terrell gets the big jump. The 15 of Rhett McBride trying to hold on to position number 2. But number 24 of Marinak just too strong out there. He is going to dig hard underneath. The 6 is now going to join him. Chad Coleman joins him, and they are going to pick up position. We'll put the 24 in position number 2. Put the 6 of Chad Coleman now in position number 3.
Yeah, Chad Coleman up to position number 3. I see Tim's Corner Motorsports represent on the deck lid of that 6 car. Looking to make Tim proud, capture a victory for that 6 car. Looking for his first victory in the Asphalt Assault Series as he joined this series not too many weeks ago. But Marinak with a good restart, able to get back into the 2nd position here. Set his sights on that 7 car as next time by is going to be 45 laps to go. You see these guys kind of twitch coming out of turn number 2. There's a giant bump there as you come out to the wall. Very easy to lose control of your car, possibly overcorrect, send you into the wall. That's one of those things that these drivers are challenged by here at Homestead. One of those unique things about this racetrack that's different from others. But right now, caution on the racetrack. It's a big wreck out of turn 4. Involved is the 4, the 88.
The 12 of Hippie also involved as well. Doug Wyatt involved in that one. Before of CJ LeVere, the 84, all involved in this one. Big trouble coming off of turn number 4. Lots of cars involved out there. The 4 gets into the 84 machine. Not exactly sure how that happened, but the 84 of Jimmy North ends up getting punted by the 4 of CJ LeVere, third in points, involving 5 drivers, and that is only going to add to what's been a very tough end of the year for CJ LeVere in the 4 machine. He's running so strong. He was a championship contender here coming down to the end of the series, and after that incident, his night might be done. CJ LeVere, more heartbreak for a team that's shown more heart than anyone can describe.
Yeah, this has been a really tough race for CJ. He almost doesn't seem himself out there. I just wasn't able to come into the lead picture at any point this race, fighting back most of the event. In this situation here, the 84 of Jimmy North slides up about half of a lane in the middle of 3 and 4, and CJ was using the very bottom line trying to gain an advantage, and he was coming up there through the center of the corner, slid up and caught the 84. Around goes the 84, gets into the wall, around goes the 4, around goes the 88, and as you mentioned, Douglas Wide also involved, I believe, and he was around on the front. A lot of damage to the 12 car as well. And so all these guys coming to pit road, all the guys out front going to stay out and keep that track position. One of the cars that this helps, by the way, is Jose Gonzalez. When he got that wave around, he tried to make it work by taking fresh tires, coming back out on the track. He was going to be half of a lap behind these guys. This caution lets him come back up and catch these guys and be on even tires. And so Jose Gonzalez currently shown in 18th. Actually, he's currently in 12th now once a few of these guys have come to pit road.
CJ LeVere will finish third in points no matter what happens here at Homestead, Miami, but it's just a tough way to go out when you know you can be competitive, especially throughout the season. 35 starts, 8 poles, 2 wins, 25 top 10s for that team. And all for naught is they will finish in third place. Still nothing to be ashamed about. Third place, a great finish for that team. And I'm sure that we have not heard the last of CJ LeVere here on LSRTV or anywhere in the iRacing world.
And actually, I have to correct myself real fast. When Jose came around and took tires on that wave around, pits were closed. He was given a black flag. He had to serve that black flag under green. And so this caution is a break for him, but it has him on the lead lap by virtue of a lucky dog here. He's actually going to be restarting the race in the 18th position, not 11th, not 12th. Lights are out on the pace car. These guys are doubled up looking for the restart. Bobby Terrell once again ahead of the field.
He is ahead of the field, but he will be joined by Stefan Marinak on the front row. Chad Coleman, Rhett McBride, Dave Lanza, AJ Browning, Steve Maddox, Mike Shelton, John Abbott, and Randy Watkins rounding out your top 10. Pace car lights will go out this time by once they cross the stripe, and they should be back to green flag racing on scoring lap 70. Don't forget, in only week and a half time, RSR comes back to the track for the Icebreaker Winter Series. First race will take place on November 25th at the Michigan Oval. It's a 10 race series just for fun to keep these guys from going on ice and what's going to be a long winter. Want to find out more? RealSimRacing.com, the website. Get signed up there, and maybe you'll find your way here on LSR TV for the RSR Winter Icebreaker Series. Pace car lights are off this time, and Harry, you've got it.
I was just going to say, that's going to be a fun series to watch and participate in. If anyone's looking to join the RSR series here and have some fun, you like what you see, that's going to be a good way to shake it out. It's a 10-race season. They're going to be broadcasted races, and it's going to be a good way to race a lot. Most of these guys it's going to be an interesting lineup, because I think you'll have Asphalt Assault guys. I think you'll have Full Throttle Cup guys, as their season is wrapping up on Monday, and it should be a nice lineup of cars participating in that series with the nationwide car. So your choice: Ford Mustang, Chevrolet Impala. Take it to the front, see how you do.
RealSimRacing.com, the website, to find out more about the Winter Icebreaker Series here at Real Sim Racing. Pace car lights are off, no indication that we are going to go back to yellow flag, so scoring lap 70, they'll come back to the green flag. Terrell back up front, Marinak in second, Chad Coleman, Rhett McBride, Dave Lanza, AJ Browning, Steve Maddox, Mike Shelton, John Abbott, Randy Watkins. Your top 10 out here. Pace car getting ready to make the hard turn down pit road. Lights are off, lights stay off. Bobby Terrell gets the jump. We're back to green flag racing on lap number 70. Bobby Terrell, hits the start. Stephen Marinak in second, but he might be under pressure from Chad Coleman, who's now starting to lose, looking underneath him. He's going to get the run. Chad Coleman now moves up to second. Marinak back to third. Rhett McBride in fourth as Marinak tries a crossover on the 6. He will be successful. It looks like two Ford Mustangs fighting side by side for position. Let those ponies run as they continue to battle through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, Coleman does not want to give up that spot as this battle continues here. And Coleman looking to retain that spot. Of course, this is holding back that 24 car, possibly looking to lose that draft if they run side by side for too long. However, Marinak looking to clear. Coleman just got a little bit loose at a turn number 2. That's what opened the door. Now Marinak gets a big run on the exit. Turn number 2, Chad loose once again. And that puts him vulnerable to the 15 of McBride, looking to get by himself. And so Terrell with about 15 car lengths on that 24 right now, but Marinak has gotten his way back up to the second position.
He's got a little bit of draft up working behind him, as well as the 6 and 15 continue to do battle side by side. The 24 still in control of second place squarely. 6 and 15 side by side. Coleman high, Rhett McBride low. Rhett McBride, an absolute competitor here. We've seen him do what he can do all throughout this series. Tonight he wants to win one for the Kipper as a 6. Makes contact with the wall. He's going to get the wall glue hard. The 33 now looking to get around him. Not going to happen. Meanwhile, behind him, the 5 of A.J. Browning, the 10 of John Abbott still doing battle. That is for position number 6.
Yeah, and that right rear tire of Coleman is just on fire. You see him just wiggling on exit as Abbott in the 10 looks underneath the 5 of Browning. And Abbott's going to be able to get that position, tuck into the 6th position behind Dave Lanza, as Lanza was looking to get some spots himself last time down the backstretch, as Coleman was stuck high, but Lanza not able to get there in time. We'll have to settle for 5th right now, as these the top cars on the racetrack all catching our leader, as Terrell losing the advantage that he had, as the draft making its way towards the front of this field right here. We are beginning lap number 74, which means that we don't have too much left. We have about 37 laps left in this event. No further pit stops needed. These drivers just looking to keep it up front, keep it clean, keep it green. And Marinak looking to take this title home with an 8-point advantage coming into tonight.
23 drivers started the race here at Homestead, Miami. Only 18 remain on the oval. Bobby Terrell in command of all of them. Stephen Marinak second, Rhett McBride third, Chad Coleman fourth, David Lanza rounds out your top 5. John Abbott 6, A.J. Browning 7, Steve Maddox, Mike Shelton, and Jose Gonzalez back in the mix. He will be in 10th. Ed Williams Jr., the 65 machine, he will run in 11th. Ed Williams being a regular here, especially at this end of the season. He's not contending for points. He's just trying to learn as much as he can and get ready probably for the next season. Randy Watkins, who's currently scored 9th in points. Even despite the rear end damage, he continues a strong run in 12th. Doug Roth, he's now 1 lap down as a result of being caught in the incident. He's still running in traffic out here. Jimmy North also running in traffic as well. Adam Roberts, Stephen Herring, trading positions now. Adam Roberts will stay in 13th. Stephen Herring 14th, as neither of those drivers get an advantage on the field. Back up in the lead group, it's the 11 and 34 battling for position number 8. Steve Maddox about to give it up to the 34 of Mike Shelton.
Yeah, Mike Shelton, we saw him take that ride down the backstretch, go through the grass, and he was running 7th, fell back to 12th, and now we see him go up to the 8th position here as he's climbing his way back through the field. Next car in front of Mike Shelton is the number 5 of A.J. Browning, while up front, Marinak is really putting together a set of laps here. He has caught up to the 7 of Terrell and just stalking that back bumper. And if my memory serves me correctly, Marinak has not led any laps yet tonight, but should he get a big enough run on that 7 car, he's going to take advantage of it. But right there, we saw him twitch, move up the racetrack, and lose that momentum. That's that fine edge that you're running here around this track. Very easy to just lose the car.
Let's go ahead and ride along the rear bumper of the 7 machine of Bobby Terrell, looking back at the 24 of Marinak, the Ford Mustang, now going low. The 7 trying to block him, not going to be able to do so. The 24 wants the run. He wants to get around the 7. Side by side they go. No help in the traffic of the 24. He's going to be forced to check back a little bit. He needs to win this drag race. Coming to the line. 7 remains in the lead. 24 remains low. going to fall back in line. He needs a little bit more help before he gets around that 7.
Yeah, and it is extremely rare that we see that 7 car throw a block, but he clean, hard racing and just doing what he can to retain this lead. Bobby knows he needs to win this race. He's doing everything at his disposal to try to make that happen as we ride on board Marinak, looking at Terrell. Now, Marinak has the advantage of that lead where he can take it a little bit easy. Of course, if he starts getting pressured for that second position by a group of cars, he cannot afford to lose a bunch of spots, which is a situation where he would find himself being much more aggressive. But it's easier for Marinak to back out right now because of that 8-point lead. Bobby just in desperation mode, doing everything he can to try to bring home this victory. Next time they cross the stripe, it's going to be 30 laps to go in this one.
So the 7 of Bobby Terrell, the 24 of Stefan Marinak continue to run first and second out here. Marinak continues to lead the points. 5 points now between Marinak and Terrell. Terrell needs a 24 to make a mistake. The 24 just needs to stay in second and stay within striking distance to win the championship. Who will win the championship? Still plenty of time left to have that happen. Tonight's race brought to you with limited commercial interruption by JDR Graphics. Find them online at jdrgraphics.com. Let's go ahead and crank it up one more time. Enjoy the sounds of the race here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Once again, the 24 of Stefan Marinak gets the lead temporarily, but Bobby Terrell back underneath. Once the crossover move makes it this time by, Bobby Terrell doesn't skip a beat. He continues to lead. 24 makes contact with the outside wall, bounces off real quick, and he is back behind the 7. Bobby Terrell doing everything he can to solidify his position for the most laps led, but even if he does, there's still 5 points. 5 points could determine your championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Marinak, don't believe he has led a single lap yet. We saw Marinak was throwing together a bunch of good laps, able to get underneath that 7 of Bobby Terrell. And then once he was able to clear Terrell had that momentum of the high side at his disposal there, was able to cross over and get back to the lead. So Bobby gets back to the lead here in a situation where he easily could have found his way going backwards. But Bobby gets really loose out of turn 2 there, able to save it quick enough to retain a lot of the momentum. 24 creeping up on him. And this is what we've seen pretty much all year long. Great battles for the wins between these two for 21 of the 35 starts that we've had in this series.
Terrell Marinak continuing to lead. Rhett McBride not to be left out. He's running third. Chad Coleman fourth. John Abbott fifth. Lanza, Shelton, Browning, Gonzalez, Maddox continuing to run your top 10. Now the 7 and 24 trying to do battle one more time. The 24 trying to look under the 7. No dice as the 7 just doesn't give him the opportunity to do so. Terrell continuing to run this track as hard as he can. Terrell, he wants to, if he can't win, he wants to be the win championship. He wants to put his name in everybody's mind as a contender. He wants to run this race in championship fashion tonight.
Absolutely, there'd be nothing sweeter than winning the race and the championship. Just makes it that much more sweet. Now, obviously, Marinak doesn't have to win this race to win the titles we've spoken about. He could just ride along and pace with that 7 of Terrell, especially now in third place, Rhett McBride. He's got quite the gap to fourth, and so Marinak would really have no problem fading back into line in third position should he lose a spot. But obviously Marinak wants to get that bonus point for leading a lap in case he needs it late in the going. Sometimes you catch a late race caution, which changes everything. Multiple strategies, and some people will be staying out. Some people are going to be taking tires to try to come on through. And so Marinak wants that bonus point, which is why he's racing so hard for that win. But also, you can't. You know, there's a reason why Marinak is the points leader, and that's he doesn't want to change his style, and he's racing with the style that he's raced with for the past 35 races this year.
When they cross the line, it will be 21 laps left before we determine a champion. Bobby Terrell, Stefan Marinak still squarely in command of this race. Chad Coleman now back down to fourth, and here comes David Lanza in the 33 machine. Now they're battling behind him, the 10, the 34 doing business side by side. That will be fourth position number 6. It looks like John Abbott in the 10, trying to do everything he can to fight off the 34 of Mike Shelton. Mike Shelton will not be denied, though, and Shelton's got help in the 5 of A.J. Browning and the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. He's going to lose that lead this time, that position this time by Shelton. Drops back to 7. John Abbott 6, but they will continue to run 2 by 2 around turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Mike Shelton on that comeback run, moving through the fields here. Now, if he's able to clear Abbott, that would be for the 6th position. However, Abbott with a big run down the backstretch here. Jose Gonzalez looking to make up that ground himself, coming all the way back from about 18th just a few laps ago, making that high side work in that side-by-side battle with A.J. Browning, that Miami Dolphins car, looking to make a statement here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And so 2 by 2, as you mentioned, continues. And in front of them, another side-by-side battle, the 6 of Coleman and the 33 of Lanzar side-by-side, and that right there is for the 4th position. Looks like that 33 of Lanzar is going to have the advantage going down the backstretch. Not able to clear Coleman yet, though. That 33 looking to clear him entering turn 3. Coleman going to look for that crossover possibly, but looks like Lanza has the momentum on his side as they exit turn number 4.
David Lanza put him into position number 4. He's the guy that's came on here late in the season, but he has found a way to make his name known in real sim racing, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see him come back around again. 30 races won for David Lanza, 2 wins, 9 top 5s, 11 top 10s for the 33 team. David Lanza, a strong competitor here in real sim racing, and he's really starting to find his own late in the season. Lanza, he'll be a household name, I assure you, very, very quickly. Up front, Terrell, Marinak, McBride, round out your top 3. Still doing battle, though, for position number 6 between the 10 and 5 and the 34, debating going 3 wide, now running in a diamond pattern through 1 and 2. Shelton still has the advantage. Browning and Abbott not letting each other go anytime soon.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hard racing here for the 7th position. A.J. Browning wants it, and A.J. qualified in 7th, looking to take 7th from Abbott. Abbott drifts way high, coming through for that 10 car, way up the track. That's going to be enough for the 5 to clear him. However, being a little conservative there, but decides to sweep up and take that position away. So the 5 car Browning up to the contact behind him, actually. The 10 of Abbott drifts up into the 26 of Gonzalez. Gonzalez possibly a little humor, but not happy about that. Gonzalez got doored there entering turn 1, going to have to regroup and try again as this hard racing continues. Meanwhile, up front, there's still single file formation. Rhett McBride hanging with our 2 leaders, though. That's Bobby Terrell. Marinak still 1-2. Marinak still has not led a lap this race. And Rhett McBride, though, as this long run has continued, just like the previous long run, that 15 has a lot of speed. That's 2 Ford Mustangs and the Chevrolet out front.
15 laps left to go before we crown a champion for the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault B-Series, powered by Inside Sim Racing, and it's still anybody's race to be had. Terrell up front, Marinak behind him, Rhett McBride, your top 3. Your top 3 has effectively checked out from the rest of the field. 2 seconds between Rhett McBride and David Lanza out here on this field. A little over 2 seconds out there, I should say. Chad Coleman 5th, Mike Shelton, AJ Browning, John Abbott, Jose Gonzalez, Steve Maddox, your top 10. And right now the entire field just scattered and spread out. Only a handful of drivers remain. 16 drivers remain on the field as a result of incidents and accidents and just good old-fashioned hard racing here at Homestead, Miami. But it looks like they've got it sorted out and figured out now as they continue to tick away laps. Currently scoring 98 laps out here, 13 to go before we have a champion.
Yeah, absolutely. With Terrell still out front, if he cannot win this championship, you can bet that he wants to win this race and make a statement. And with 11 wins on the season compared to Stefan's 10, that would make the mark 12-10, which would be a cool little thing to have right there. They would actually tie in wins on the year should Marinak be able to get to the lead and win this race. However, Marinak right now dealing with that 15 McBride, who's on him even more as McBride just all over the back of the 24. Marinak drives into turn 1 pretty deep though, makes it work, and it's going to be difficult for Rhett. Rhett is in this battle here. He can win this race, but passing is just something that's really hard to do here, and that with that high side being pretty good for keeping momentum.
Eyesight's still good for keeping momentum as these tires start to wear out a little bit. This track very abrasive, very hard on tires out there. Terrell continuing to run high. Marinak second, McBride third. It'll be David Lanza in fourth. And right now, the way these guys are running with 11 laps left to go, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot left to this race. Nobody willing to make another mistake. Nobody willing to jeopardize their run. Everybody just purely happy out there to be turning laps, and none of your top three doing anything to jeopardize anything they could do out there on the track. Now distance between them, this race could be for all intents and purposes over. 10 to go. Terrell still in the lead.
And you know, these drivers are nervous. They want to, Stefan wants this race to end, wants the points tabulated and finished. Terrell wants to win this race, but he knows that if everything stays the same right now, that all he can do is win this race. If Stefan finishes second, that's your champion here this year in the Asphalt Assault Series. And so these drivers, single file mainly because no one's really making any mistakes. There's a few different lines. Some of these guys, Terrell, you see that time coming out of 4, running way higher, sweeping wider than the 24. Marinak running tighter out of turn 4. And the advantage right now is actually up to 3.5 tenths between that 7 car and that 24. And so Terrell, these last couple laps, able to edge away a little bit. Seems like his car just a little bit better on the long run for him compared to earlier on when Marinak looked like a sure thing for getting that lead. However, this time by, I'm going to see 8 laps to go. 8 laps for Bobby Terrell to possibly get his 12th win of the year. 8 laps for Stefan Marinak to try and hold on to his championship bid.
Bobby Terrell, Stefan Marinak still first and second, and Terrell now in square control of the race. 0.4 of a second, closer to half a second when we cross the line at the start-finish line. Time ticking away on this field. It is only 7 laps left to go. Check out 8 laps left to go on this field, and Bobby Terrell doing everything he can to secure a big win here at Homestead Miami Speedway. He may not win the championship. He needs something catastrophic to happen to the 24 of Marinak with 7 to go now. But Bobby Terrell still putting his name out there. He wants to remember some very important core facts about his run this year. He did have the most wins. He did have the most top 5s. So he still has a lot to show for the series. But the piece de resistance would have been that championship. Nonetheless, he's going to try to win this in convincing fashion. Rhett McBride almost got around the 24, Stefan Marinak. Marinak slammed the door with 6 to go. 6 runs to go. Marinak still in second. Rhett McBride fighting for that position.
Yeah, Rhett McBride was looking underneath that 24 car entering turn number 3 last time by. Wasn't quite able to make it work. Marinak not willing to give up anything right now. But McBride, one of the fastest cars on the track, as 4th on back, is 3.5 seconds behind these guys. Meanwhile, Terrell just building that lead, continues to build it. this time by. Terrell's got just a little over 0.4 of a second back to that 24 car with 5 laps to go. And that 5 number is something to keep in mind here. If a caution were to come out, that would effectively end the race from going back green. And so Stefan wouldn't really mind a caution at this point just to keep himself safe. Right now dealing with Rhett. And since Stefan has not been able to lead a lap this race, since Bobby's been able to notch the most laps led, that is a 6-point gap between first and second, I do believe. If Rhett's able to take this second position, which he hasn't been able to do yet, obviously looking down the front stretch, that would make the gap 7, and Bobby would lose the title by 1 point. If my calculations are correct, it's right around that number. But Terrell right now in complete control of this race, 4.5 tenths back to that second place car of Marinak.
Non-stop on the leaders now. Terrell, 3 laps to go before he picks up his 12th win of the season here at Homestead, Miami. Marinak squarely in second. Rhett McBride third. Now back at position number 4, Lanza Shelton, AJ Browning, all running in line. This race could be, for all intents and purposes, over. Nobody willing to make a mistake now. Lap traffic even out of the way, pulling into the pits, letting these guys have their moment in the sun here at Homestead, Miami. Bobby Terrell, he's waiting for something, hoping something happens to change his luck. Marinak, though, won't let it happen. They cross the line, popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go.
And that 15 looking underneath the 24 Marinak once again. Stefan drives it hard into turn number 1, takes the line away. But Rhett's going to have to fade back into the 3rd position. And next time by, the white flag. The 15 looking underneath the 24 once again as they come up on turn number 3. Rhett doing all he can to get every spot that he can. They're side by side entering 3 here. Rhett just trying to do all he can to take that advantage away. Marinak going to look for the crossover if he has the momentum. But McBride, what a turn 4 exit right there. White flag is in the air. They will reach the checkered flag under power. No caution flag from here.
Discretion being the better part of valor. The number 24 gives it to the 15. He doesn't need the position anymore. The 7 of Bobby Terrell may win this race, but Marinak, unless something crazy happens, has solidified his championship. He is projected to be your Asphalt Assault B Series winner, your B Series champion. Will it all come to fruition? Number 7 of Terrell turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag flies. Bobby Terrell wins the race. Rhett McBride second. Stefan Marinak, your champion in the Asphalt Assault Series.
What an incredible showing. These drivers dominant all season long. That is the 12th win of the year for Bobby Terrell. Leads the series. Second most in the series. 10 wins on the year. Stefan Marinak, your champion. These drivers racking up top 5s all season long. Good, hard, clean racing between the two. A lot of respect shown last week at Phoenix. We saw them racing hard with a lot of respect. This week, a little more aggressive. Bobby couldn't give up anything. Takes home the victory, and that's what he had to do, and let the points fall where they may. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough for Bobby, but Stefan Marinak, that championship, and let me tell you, 36 long weeks of racing here with these nationwide cars, and Marinak just breathing a deep sigh of relief right now.
Terrell will run the celebratory burnout. Everybody congratulating both the 7 and the 24 on an incredible season's run. Bobby Terrell running the slow donuts. He knew he was very close to winning this championship, and now here comes the 24. Stefan Marinak, a little bit more spirited, your champion in the Asphalt Assault B-Main Series. The 7 now coming over to the 24 to give him his congratulations on a season well run. Both these drivers have a lot to be proud of, a lot to hold their heads up for in 35 weeks of racing here with Real Sim Racing. Tonight's race brought to you with limited commercial interruption by JDR Graphics. Find them online at jdrgraphics.com. We will step away from the microphone for just a moment. When we come back, we will talk to your race winner, Bobby Terrell. We will talk to your season champion, Stefan Marinak. We will talk to Rhett McBride and look forward to what is coming up, the Icebreaker Series, in just a couple of weeks' time. Stefan Marinak, your champion of the RSR Asphalt Assault B Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing. We will hear from the champion next on LSRTV.
experts in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first Asphalt iRacing.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
"36 races officially in the book. The RSR Asphalt Assault B Series presented by Inside Sim Racing officially comes to an end. 1 point difference unofficially between Bobby Terrell and Rhett McBride for the championship here in the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault B Series. Let's waste no time. Let's go ahead and go down to victory lane with Bobby Terrell celebrating a big finish here. The last finish of the 2013 season at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, Bobby Terrell, tonight's race winner. And by winning tonight's race, that's his 12th win on the year, wrapping up most wins by a driver in this series this year. And I tell you what, Bobby, 36 races, 12 wins, 25 top 5. So I know it's got to be bittersweet because you definitely had that big trophy in mind, but I think you really made a statement this year. And what a race for the championship. 1 point between you and Marinac when it's all said and done. 36 races without a chase, so it had to be an incredible ride.
Oh, yeah, man, it was. Thank you, Harrison. I've got no complaints. I mean, if you think about it, to win 12 races in this division, like you said, 24, 25 top 5s. I had some bad races that cost me. I made some dumb mistakes that cost me, but I mean, no complaints. I mean, if you want to really get down to it, there's really no loser. But I mean, I did lose by 1 point, but I led the most laps, got the wins. My corner per incident was high. I think I only caused 1 incident all year. I mean, I'm happy. It was a dream season. It's a shame I lost by 1 point.
Yeah, coming back from that it seemed to really come together. It really seemed to come together in the summer months here, where I believe you had a big point deficit to come back from. Did you ever imagine that you would get this close and just put on such a show here in the final races?
Well, Harrison, I mean, that's what it's all about, was the show, and me and Stefan put on a good show. I was so far behind that I really thought it was over with. And that's when I said, I'm not trying to points race. I'm just going to try to go out and win races. I mean, that's just what I'm going to try to do. And like I said, I had some bad races. The first 3 races is probably what cost me, if you really want to think about it. I mean, I got that penalty at Dover, and that ultimately cost me. But, it was the first of the season, like you said. And this race, like I said, I knew what I had to do. I knew Stephen. I was really surprised Stephen was racing me that hard. I was trying to lay back a little bit and take care of my stuff so I could have a good push at the end. But he raced me hard. I mean, I'll have to say that for him, especially with the championship on the line.
Oh yeah, certainly. Looking at this race alone tonight, there was a lot of that was quite the battle with about 30-40 laps to go with Stefan. I think he knew he needed to lead a bonus point to have one more position of leeway. He actually did not lead any laps tonight. Meanwhile, you led 79 out of the 110. Certainly dominated the race to get that victory. And looking at just Homestead alone, you really seem to have it figured out. I would say more so on the long run. It seemed like the long run was really where your car really jumped out.
Yeah, I mean, I knew how to take care of my tires. I had done some testing Monday, and I knew that if I overdrove a few corners that would burn actually the left rear up and the right rear, but more so it seemed like if you worked on the left rear, you would start losing time later on in the run, and I knew that if I kept man in a certain area that it would be good all the way through the whole run.
But after quite a successful season, as actually the points are updated, officially 1 point, and you finish out the year, like I said, 12 wins, 25 top fives, average finish of 6.6, and really just a great showing all year, a great battle. And so after this 2013 campaign, you think you'll be back next season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've really enjoyed the admins running the series. I'm pretty sure I'll be back for redemption. We'll see. I mean, it's a long season. I don't know if I'll be able to make every race next year because my son's fixing to go into the Air Force, so I'll probably have to miss a few for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I tell you what, Bobby, a great season. Congrats to you. Second in points, most wins. And who makes it happen for the 7 bunch? Who would you like to thank?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Inside Sim Racing for sponsoring their series. Hippie's Paint Shop also, Derek Spear Designs. You guys up in the booth. I mean, I cannot say enough about the coverage. Laura, I'd like to especially thank her for her camera work. I mean, it's amazing to watch that. And then you guys up there announcing it and JD, orchestrating the whole thing. I'd also like to thank all the other drivers out here for the room they gave. They all raced me clean. And like I said, my teammates, I can't thank enough people, for the racing and everything. And it's just been a great season, and it was awesome. And like I said, you guys up there for doing the great job you do. And John Abbott, Real Sim Racing, for doing this. I guess that's it.
We certainly appreciate the kudos, and certainly when the drivers put on a great show, makes life a lot easier as far as talking about it. And so that's Bobby, tonight's winner, 12th of the year. A great race tonight, a lot of green flag racing, great show. And Joe, what a way to cap it off, really.
What a way to cap off an incredible season. Bobby Terrell, nothing to be ashamed of, finishes 1 point behind Stefan Marinak in what will go down as the closest season in the RSR Asphalt Assault B Series to ever be had. Championship, everything's still getting ready for the championship presentation. CJ LeVere finishing 3rd tonight. Rhett McBride finishing 4th in points this season. John Abbott, your administrator, finishing 5th in points. Brian Harvey 6th. Douglas Wyatt, Hippie himself, finishing 7th. Doug Roth finishing 8th in points. Randy Watkins in 9th. John Wilco finishing tonight's series at 10th in points. Let's go ahead and throw it back down to Harrison Weidlitz, who's caught up with our second place finisher, Rhett McBride.
Yeah, Rhett McBride looked great out there tonight. And it wasn't too many weeks ago that we saw that heartbreaker at Dover. And Rhett, I thought how much sweeter it would have been to capture tonight's victory. Obviously, wasn't meant to be, but that 15 car looked awfully fast out there.
Yeah, Harrison, it was tonight was just one of those things, you just couldn't I got too much respect for both of those guys to get up there and do something silly and take them both out. I mean, I felt like we had a car that could have won the race for sure. I think we kind of showed it there at the end, getting around Stefan. But that's just, I got too much respect for both of them. They're great racers. They're fast, they're clean, and first Daytona, different story. But tonight, I kind of wanted to back out of it a little bit. I had the best show in the best seat in the house though all night.
Yeah, certainly. And looking back at this season, you were able to wrap up 4th in points with a huge advantage of, I believe, 91 points over 5th. But 4th in points with 11 top 5s on the year, and you were able to capture that victory earlier in the season. 2 poles also on the year, 17 top 10s, a really consistent year. And so what were the high marks for you over the course of this season? Which races are most memorable?
Well, I think probably the road course. Heck, I can't even remember which road course what the track is, but maybe. But the road course win was nice. Just halfway through the season, kind of getting on top of some equipment issues I had, and then just kind of finding where I needed to be with this car. So we're kind of gaining momentum for next year, and really looking forward to next season. I think we got, like you said, we were much more consistent in the second half of the year. The wins weren't there, but they're coming. I mean, tonight I felt like we could have won that race if it had been different circumstances. But it was just a lot of fun. I enjoyed the season, enjoyed racing with these guys. Congratulations to Stefan and John for both of them having great seasons.
And looking at just Homestead tonight, you, like Bobby, seemed like that your car was really came to life on the long run as well. There were a few times that you got caught racing someone and lost a little bit of time early on after a restart. And that 15 car, on multiple occasions, was able to drive back into the picture in that lead battle. And so as far as driving this racetrack, what did you think that you were doing that was really helping you out?
Well, I think, with this progressive banking and everything, I mean, you really have to be smooth and hit your marks. I mean, here more so than I think any other track we run. And you just have to hit your marks every lap. And I was fast enough on the restarts that when I needed to go, I could stay in front of whoever I was racing. But you're right. I mean, I think Bobby might have been the only other guy up there that I felt like had anything for us on the long runs, and it was a better long run car. But I kind of wish we had Homestead at the beginning of the season, because I felt like tonight we had something for them, but circumstances were what they were. You just I couldn't be too aggressive, up there.
Yeah, certainly. And so wrapping up this season with a second place finish, 4th in points. That number 15 car, they certainly knew you were there. And so after 36 races, who would you like to thank? Who makes it happen for that 15 bunch?
Well, I just want to thank, first off, guys who sponsored this series, Inside Sim Racing, Darren Ganji and Sean Cole over there. They do a great job, great show. I'd like to thank Hippie's Paint Shop for helping out all year long in the series. You guys at ETV do a great job in the booth. My sponsor, GT Omega Sim Racing Chassis. You can go visit them at gtomegaracing.com. And just all the other drivers. I mean, it was a good season. It was a long season. I'm kind of glad it's over. Take a break from it. But that'll do it.
Yeah, certainly a break from competition. They'll be raring to go once Daytona rolls around. But that's our second place finisher, Rhett McBride. I'll send it up to Joe.
Championship Circle is the place to be right now as they roll the 24 in of Stefan Marinak. I will now turn it over to your series administrator, John Abbott, who is with our champion of the RSR Asphalt Assault B Series, Stefan Marinak. John, take it away.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Stefan, on behalf of the administration of Real Sim Racing League and all of its drivers, we want to congratulate you as champion of the first annual Asphalt Assault TV series. You definitely earned it. I mean, what a battle between you and Bobby Terrell. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. And the class you guys showed on the track week in and week out. So I know you're going to represent Real Sim Racing very well. And so want to congratulate you on the championship. With the help of Inside Sim Racing TV and Hippie's Paint Shop, we present you with the champion's prize of a Derek Spears designed button box and a Fanatic wheel stand for your championship.
Woo! I think that's all that needs to be said right there. Stefan Marinak winning the first annual championship in what may go down as the tightest championship ever in this series. 1 point between you, Stefan Marinak, and Bobby Terrell. How does it feel to be the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault B-Series champion?
Oh my God, incredible. Jesus, I can't believe it. That was an awesome battle. I can't thank Bobby enough for racing me clean for it. That's all you can ask for, running for a championship in a league, is to have a race like we had. And, man, 1 point after 36 races, 9 months, that's crazy.
Consistency was the key to your game. 22 top 5s, 29 top 10s, and 10 wins across 36 races here in what's been a very long season. Looking back at your season, would you have changed anything about it? Would you have changed anything about the run you've had coming up to here at Homestead, Miami?
No way. That's an awesome way to end the championship. I cannot believe it. That's so cool to be the winner of a 1 point championship. And man, I would not change anything. 10 wins, tons of top 5s. It was a great season.
Let's talk about your run tonight. You've had to find your way through traffic, qualifying in 6th. You're all the way up to 2nd. How nervous were you running in the field through traffic, and then with that last lap pass by Rhett McBride?
I was very nervous at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. I regret wearing a jacket to race tonight. I'm sweating so bad, but by the end of the race, I mean, it got a lot better. It was kind of pointless holding Rhett up. I knew I had a spare point, but I was so worried. I didn't want to even give that up. But it was awesome at the end to have that 3-car breakaway. I knew I needed to finish 3rd if I didn't lead any laps, and once he got by me, it was just smooth sailing.
And it definitely seemed to be smooth sailing for you. 1 point difference in this very first championship. At any point tonight, were you ever concerned that the championship may not go your way?
Not really. We had a really good race. Made my way through the pack. By that first caution, I think I was 3rd or 4th. So we ran up in the top 5 all night. We had good speed. I was able to hold a lot of people off on the restarts, and I think it was a great night.
This has definitely given a huge boost to your iRacing racing career. What's next for Stefan Marinak? I know we have the Winter Icebreaker Series coming up. We have another year of the Asphalt Assault B-Main Series coming up. What's next, though, for you? What's next for Stefan Marinak and the entire 24 team?
I'm looking into running the Full Throttle Cup Series full-time next year, so I don't think I'll be running the Winter Series. I'm so busy with college right now. It's really hard to even get these races in and practice for them. But yeah, definitely looking into Full Throttle Cup Series next year, and I'm really excited for that. They have good racing.
And definitely going to be a lot of fun watching you make that transition into the Cup Series after winning the first ever Asphalt Assault B-Main Championship. Before I let you go to celebrate your big victory tonight, who makes it work for you? Who's made it work for you all season?
Yeah, the series sponsors, Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs, I thank you guys so much for the prizes you put up. You guys at ETV, you guys have done a phenomenal job all year. The broadcasts are awesome. Everyone at RSR for making it a great league to race in. All my teammates at Fearless Racing, they've been great all year helping me out. Chad Cole for helping me practice for this race last night. That was a huge help. Admins at RSR, always making great calls. And I think that's about it. Oh, and Bobby for having a great race with me and racing me clean. That was so much fun.
Your champion, Stefan Marinak, winning the first ever Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault B Series presented by Inside Sim Racing. Not to be discounted as well, your team, Fearless Racing, also wins the team championship here as well. So you are now 2 for 2 and undefeated so far in the Asphalt Assault Series.
Thank you guys so much.
Harrison Weidlitz, it's been a very long season, 36 races, all accumulating with this incredible finish tonight. I don't think words can do justice to what we've just seen here at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I mean, looking at this series, there is no chase. This is the nationwide, this is the same points system as the NASCAR Nationwide Series here in the RSR Asphalt Assault Series. 36 races, everyone counts just the same. And I mean, you know, after 36 weeks, where the difference between, you know, first and 30th is literally about I'm sorry, I just lost audio. I'm not sure if you heard me, but the difference between winning and losing can go as high as 43 points pretty much on a weekly basis here. It comes down to 1 point, the difference between the champion and second place, which says so much for these guys. Won 22 out of the 36 races between the two of them. And we saw a number of other drivers get wins this year as well. CJ Lavera, Rhett McBride, who finished second tonight with 1 win on the year. John Abbott won at Dover. Dave Lanza won 2 races. Matt Lacrosse ran 2/3 of the schedule, got 3 wins. And I mean, just to come into this race and have those two guys battling for the championship, take it all the way to those final laps, says a lot.
What an incredible finish to what's been an incredible season. It's always hard to say goodbye, but there's another season coming up next year for the Asphalt Assault B-Main Series presented by Real Sim Racing, part of the Real Sim Racing family of leagues. Don't forget, there's still time to get involved here at Real Sim Racing. RSR Icebreaker Winter Series starts in a week and a half time on Monday, November 25th with the Michigan Oval. Find out more about how you can get involved at realsimracing.com. The title sponsor of the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault B Series, Inside Sim Racing. Find out more about them at InsideSimRacing.tv. One of your sponsors presenting prizes here at Homestead Miami Speedway for the champion, Derek Spear Designs. Find more about what they do with their high-performance virtual racing components at DerekSpearDesigns.com. Tonight's race brought to you with limited commercial interruption from JDR Graphics. Find out more about them at JDRGraphics.com. And that should do it for us here from Homestead Miami Speedway. Your champion, Stefan Marinak, finishing 1 point ahead of Bobby Terrell for the championship tonight. So many people we need to thank for making the RSR Asphalt Assault B Series come to play. Tim Terry calling the majority of the races. Harrison Weidlitz is going side by side with him to call those races throughout the season. Laura Lawson, your executive producer and camera operator for all the races here in the RSR series. We'll look forward to seeing your handiwork in a week and a half's time for the Icebreaker Winter Series here with Real Sim Racing. So on behalf of your entire broadcast crew here at LSRTV, I am Joe Cortez congratulating Stefan Marinak once again, your champion of the Asphalt Assault B Series, powered by Inside Sim Racing. Your first champion winning by 1 point. That'll do it for us. Good night, race fans, from Homestead Miami Speedway.